Not Dead Yet Ben was his nickname.
And that's how we start off the video. With her yelling, "Not dead yet, Ben." So we are recording.
So, yeah.
Hello.
I could introduce myself here a bit. I'm from the UK, same as Abdul this way. And
Same as Abdul. Is that what you said?
We had to bring up Abdul in the first 30 seconds.
You had to bring up Abdul. You had to do it.
He's trying to make me cry because I miss Abdul so much.
I do miss him. It's like, he was awesome. It's like, what happened there?
Every time he'd start getting into it and really laughing and having a good time, some Muslim would open the door and say, "What are you doing?"
Oh, that was funny. He was at the mosque once.
He's like, nothing.
That was funny.
I remember this.
I'm just talking to the great Satan.
Oh my God.
Oh.
This chat has already fallen apart.
It fell apart before we started recording. What are you talking about? Hi, I'm Scott Creighton. I'm with American Everyman and Nomadic Everyman and Church Dog 42 channel. Since we're
And Bow Tender, don't forget Bow Tender.
And my Bow Tender channel, which he's pulling on me right now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm on BB, Barb Hammer, in the Great White North, as I like to call it. Originally from Virginia.
The Great White North.
The Great White, I love that. Oh, White Nazi North, really is what it is.
That's what it's turning into up there.
It is, yeah.
It is.
Nazi Nation, Aryan Nation, right on.
Throw some gang signs up. What is that? That's Aryan Nation, man. That's the A, and that's the M. That's gang sign. Someone's gonna see this and come to my house and shoot me.
But now I'm being treated like a Jew in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, straight up.
Ooh.
I said it. I said it.
She went there. So what are we doing today, Ben? What do you want to talk about, buddy?
I was like discovering like Twitter recently about the whole, what was going on with the Rona and everything with what's going on in current events with Pakistan and
Kazakhstan.
yeah, Pakistan.
Yeah, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
I thought you said Kakistan there for a minute.
I thought you said Pakistan. I was like, well,
No.
Yeah, and then it sounded like Kakistan.
I was like, God damn, he fucking he it blew my mind. What happened in Pakistan? It's a war, Scott. What the fuck? I didn't even know. Jesus. Kazakhstan? Yeah, Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Sorry with that pronunciation. So also like Ukraine as well, and it's just weird. It's eerily, eerie. It feels cold watery. I don't know what's going on down there. Like really,
It's really heating up.
yeah. It feels.
I hear that propaganda big time here in Canada. It seems like all the anti-China and anti-Russian propaganda is really extreme up here.
Yes.
There are lots of Ukrainians here, and they're so proud of their Ukrainian nationalists, Nazis. They really are.
Are they proud of Newland? Victoria Newland.
You're walking down the street in Canada and you say, hi. Oh, no.
I know.
No.
Well, Chris Freeland is the deputy prime minister, and she holds another cabinet. And her grandfather was a Nazi collaborator in Ukraine.
Wow.
Well, fucking Klaus Schwab's father was a fucking Nazi collaborator. He helped make parts for fucking war for planes and for tanks that killed Allied soldiers.
That's right.
And here we are letting him lead us down the fucking road to a great new day. Really?
Yeah, Krista Freeland, like when people were bringing that up about her grandfather being a Nazi, she said that was Russia that was pushing that information out there. She accused Russia of doing that.
That's Russian disinfo. Zico!
That's what she did. She got upset and says the Russians are spreading that around. And it's just the truth. You know, it's easy to find.
Exactly. Everything is Russian. Russian disinfo. Everything. That's what I hear every day in the UK.
Since you brought up Russian disinfo, and since you brought up Ukraine, I thought it was funny on RT. I was just looking at. They did a whole expose on all these ridiculous fucking warmongering pieces of artwork, like showing how Russia's going to invade with 100,000 troops, and then they're going to rape the babies over here, and they're going to sacrifice the goats to the demon god over here. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's literally that kind of shit. And like you said, and that's on the front page of RT if your viewers want to go see it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's reminiscent. I did a video talking about it the other day. It goes right back to 2002, 2003, and all the bullshit they were creating and fabrication about invading Iraq. The problem is, you think it's Cold War propaganda. That was hot war propaganda. That was hot war propaganda taking us into a very hot war.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's very hot war.
Hot war.
Right.
Like,
and another
that's when,
comparison you can make is what happened in 1999 with Saddam invading fucking. Was it? That wasn't Kuwait. Was it? It is Kuwait, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but that was in 80. Wait a minute, 1990
or 91.
91.
All right.
With Saddam invading fucking Kuwait, well, we gave him the green light on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds very similar to what we're doing with the Ukrainians, telling them, go ahead, go into the Donbass region, see what happens. You go ahead, go on in there, see what happens. This is the kind of shit that we do. And this just the old playbook being redone over and over and over again.
It's like repeating itself, history repeating itself.
Well, I was thinking, you know, there are all these countries, like China, Russia, Iran,
Venezuela.
Yeah, and even Turkey. Yeah. But all those countries that are kind of opposing this whole Western and Israeli business agenda. So I think they decided to go after Russia and use Ukraine as a proxy. But it's really to counter all of those countries in a way, because Russia has strong ties to all those countries. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's the BRICS nations. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Spain, and they were.
No, the S is South Africa, not Spain. It's South Africa. South Africa.
It's Spain. It was
South Africa.
Originally, it was Spain, but I mean, I don't care. Huh?
I didn't know originally it was Spain. I didn't know about that.
I'm not aware of that.
But the point is, India just recently is now doing the same fucking thing. They are pushing away from the Western fucking vaccine thing and the mandates and all of that shit. Exactly. They are getting closer to China and to Russia. So you're going to see a resurgence of the BRICS nations, and then you're going to add the others, like the unaligned countries, nations.
Because India during the Cold War was aligned with Russia, and Pakistan was aligned with China. That's how it worked.
That's why there's a lot of things I'd learned about. I didn't even know with India and Pakistan. Because normally, you know, I was fed like just the British history of it, of India, and you know, that's what I automatically assumed for years, just the Western, all the way Western.
I think from what I was reading, I think one of the things that instigated their recent turning eastward away from the fucking West is what we were doing, trying to instigate violence and conflict between India and China on their border.
That's right. I remember that.
And India is now to the point where even Modi is turning fucking his back on these guys, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, because he's really in bed with them. But
right.
the feeling, from what I understand, in general feeling of the population is they're sick of all this shit.
Yes.
As well they should be, you know, as well as everybody else is.
Yeah.
And China's offering a different fucking solution.
Exactly.
Well, I think Modi he was talking about buying that Russian missile system. And that's
the S-400.
And then you start hearing about sanctions on India over that. Yeah.
As soon as it's just funny, as soon as they start talking about buying that fucking S-400, all of a sudden there's sanctions. Why do you want to buy the S-400? Because that one actually works, and if we get into conflict with them, they're not going to turn the motherfucker off like you would ours if we bought yours. So.
Yeah, the Russian technology always works better. I remember hearing about the MiG jets. The MiG jets could land on anything. You know, any tarmac, there could be crap all over it, no problem. But all the U.S. jets, they had to have a crystal clear, clean tarmac to land on, or else they just wipe out. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And the Russian tanks in World War II were far superior to ours.
No.
Have you seen that? There's a video, a couple videos out of it now from the Russian plane that can actually fly along like this, slow down, hover. It's a fighter jet doing this. Hover, turn up on its end,
I know those.
dance around for a little while. Then it takes, little kids will be like, huh, in their Russian language. It'll reach down and sign the autograph and then fly off.
Wow.
Ours,
we're lucky if they fucking land and take off.
Oh yeah, the F-35 is just a disaster. God, that thing.
And we keep selling it. You know what happens when they sell that shit, the F-35 to some country? As soon as they walk out the door, the guys are like, "Bought that fucking thing." It's a bucket of bolts, a crop duster.
Oh, that's funny. You know, like Turkey was part of that F-35 project. And then after they bought the Russian missile system, they got kicked out of the program. And I think that was a blessing in disguise, really.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's what I didn't know about that with the Turkey, that program.
Well, Turkey is part of NATO, but they're always kind of on the fringes there.
There are people always conflated with like this one narrow view of Turkey that is just a NATO puppet thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what else are we chatting about?
There was. Did I mention it before already? So, I was talking with my latest video. It was about certain Cold War language, and I think you've mentioned it in your videos in the past about how people wrongly misinterpreted the World Economic Forum as just like a communist agenda, like a communist project, which is stupidity. It's like, it doesn't make sense. They keep pushing it, and it feels like it's echoed, and it feels like it's going back in that Trump, that QAnon phase again.
Yeah. That's an astute observation.
Yeah.
What they do is, it's not so much that they just want to call everything that's bad communism.
Yeah.
The reason they do that is because I don't care if it's Alex Jones doing it or if it's Barack Obama doing it. Nancy Pelosi just came out and like, we're a communist, we're a capitalist country, and that's it. We're capitalist. Free market capitalist is what she means. I don't care if it's Dick Cheney doing it. Whoever's saying that and doing that, consciously or subconsciously, what they are doing is they are demonizing the only opposition to what's they have in store for us. So that's like when oh, but yeah, the shit's going on. That's bad, but we don't want big government. What do they mean by that? What they mean is we don't want the one fucking thing that can stop these motherfuckers from doing what they're doing in our country.
Exactly.
Right. So
yeah,
big business,
and the definition of communism has gotten so distorted. I remember Ron Paul, I think I mentioned, in a video I did, he was suggesting that all government is socialism. So communism is now any government that regulates business.
Right. According to, I mean, I talked about this with Uncle Hotep. According to these people now calling China communist, China is a regulated market economy. Yeah. We had a regulated market economy from 1934 until 1979, 1980, when it turned into a fucking neoliberal economy. So you're saying the United States was a communist country from 1939 until 1978 or 1979? That's what they said. That's their definition of communism now. Anything that's not totally free market savage capitalism.
Like Eisenhower would be considered a communist leader now. Eisenhower.
So UK have some in the UK. They have a vivid memory of elements of Thatcher and what happened to the UK economy as they financialized it and deregulated things out of it and gutted the public sector, and what she was doing to the NHS and privatization of it.
Well, they're still working on that, aren't they?
And they're still working on it.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. It's getting worse with the NHS app. That shit. I didn't want that touched on my phone. You know, it was always encouraging family members keep, telling everybody download it. All this crap, and that's not for me. There's no way. Sorry, I'm rambling. If I'm rambling, I was just like pissed.
Well, just say you're British. You're British.
I don't know what you're saying because I muted you 15 seconds ago. So you were rambling, so I just muted you.
We'll just say, those Brits, they ramble.
Fucking Abdul Hussein, man, he was rambling all the time. He just rambled.
Well, I told Ben, I was in the UK in the early days of Thatcher, and I was staying at a council flat. So my ex, he had a cousin, his mother was British, and so we were visiting his cousin who was on the dole. She was a single mother. She had a council flat, very nice, decent housing, and we stayed with her. Right. And then I heard how Thatcher was selling off these, this social welfare housing, council flats, privatizing it.
Asset stripping, everything.
Decent housing for people, on the dole, like single mother and,
exactly.
I saw this weird thing in a couple of states California's one, and I think Oregon or someplace. They had obviously the problem with homeless people all over the place. So they took all this money and they gave it to developers to make housing for the homeless people, right? But these things are in prime real estate spots, and they are like sprawling condos. And instead of having community housing where you got 50 things in a big fucking place, you got a kind of big place, but you only got 10 units. And they said the value of these things is going to be $500,000 to start with, and then upward. And you telling me they're going to give homeless people $500,000 fucking condos? No. So you know damn well what's going to happen. They say, oh, well, we're out of money right now, so we got to sell this asset. So they're spending the money on building, the homeless money, on building the thing with these big-time developers. And they're obviously building nice fucking condos for sale. Yeah. And then as soon as they're fucking done, they're going to go, well, we're out of money. We need the money. Well, we shouldn't have done this. Now we got to sell them on the cheap to fucking oligarchs' sons, nephews, fucking crackhead Joe Biden's son will be in there smoking up some crack in one of them. But it's obvious. I mean, it's so fucking obvious what these people are doing. Even from the start, they're doing this shit.
Sick.
Yeah, it's this unregulated real estate market, which, you know, in China, they still have a regulated real estate market.
That's right.
And that's why, like in Hong Kong, a lot of people will move from Hong Kong to the mainland because they can find affordable housing there.
Exactly.
So.
There were no homeless people in Libya until we decided to fucking destroy it.
There you go.
There was no homeless people in Libya. There was no such thing as an electric bill.
That's right.
You got married. You got a dowry from the fucking state.
I mean, yeah, it was a very wealthy country, and so the wealth was shared with the people.
The wealth was shared with the people. Plus, they were outstanding in terms of, you know, talking about, you know, if you're a free marketeer and you like entrepreneurship, there was no better state entrepreneur program getting people to start up their own fucking businesses than what they did in fucking Libya. What the Green Revolution did. None better in the fucking world.
Wow.
And we destroyed it. We destroyed it.
I was really angry when I found out about that. Really angry.
I don't really remember seeing homeless on the street in the U.S. until the 80s.
Yeah.
And that's when
the 80s.
That's when I became aware of homeless on the street. Yeah.
And during the Thatcher years, didn't like homelessness or people sleeping rough, or isn't that what they call it? Didn't it fucking take off during the Thatcher years?
Yes, it did. In 1979, 1980s. That's what there's horror stories about that. About homelessness, and it's still increasing today. It's getting worse, and they have a thing called food banks, operated by charities, and supermarkets like Asda, which used to be owned by Walmart, but there's Muslim billionaires owns it today. So yeah, they are just, you can see a lot of those in the UK. Lots of homeless people, lots of food banks. It's just ridiculous.
It's depressing.
It's depressing.
When I used to be able to go across the border before COVID, I would go down to Seattle, and this is before COVID. I'm sure it's far worse now. A third of the people in Seattle are homeless. So you'll see lots of homeless camps, tent cities, basically. So there are a lot of people too that kind of couch surf too. So they're homeless really. So occasionally they can find a sofa to sleep on or something.
Yeah.
And then the hostel where I stayed, before they cracked down on this, of all things, there were working homeless people who would take a break from sleeping rough. They would come in, they had a little money, so they'd stay in the hostel for a few days.
Wow.
And then the hostel cracked down on that and didn't allow them to do that.
Wow.
You know, so I met, you know, they're in my room, my dorm room, there will be, you know, people working, but they don't have a home.
It's so backwards, it's so sick. It's just the way they treat poor people and homeless people.
The takers.
It's just sick. Yeah. And it's like, you see them under the bridge sleeping, you know, in the UK. There's no tent. Like they sleep under the bridge without anything in the cold.
Well, they had a policy down here for a long time, and then people started calling attention to this, and they started calling attention to the fact that they had criminalized homelessness. And so they changed laws, and they changed laws federally, but they also changed laws statewide and some citywide. So they don't really do as bad as they were for about a 5-year stretch down here in Tampa. But I saw the other day, you know, typically in my videos, I will cover something that Tucker Carlson does right. when he does something right. And he's getting more into the vaccine mandates and passports. And I even saw him talking to someone today or yesterday about the fact that these passports that are being done in the United Kingdom, you can go back to 2018 and here's a screenshot of their plans for these damn passports on the cell phones that they will use for everything. You know, so this is part of the plan. He actually had that, to give him kudos. He actually had that on national television, primetime Fox. Now, give him credit for that. However, talking about the homeless, he was saying, oh my God, now these laws, and they keep the police from locking up the people who are homeless. And he doesn't, again, because he is a fucking neoliberal. He is a fucking hardcore conservative. He doesn't understand the concept of how that works in reality. In reality, you mentioned the fact that these guys in under the bridge don't have any tents. Well, what happens is they'll go and bust up a group like this, round them all up, roust them all up, put them all on a bus, arrest them all at the same time, and then they'll come in with fucking bulldozers and take all their fucking shit and trash it. Everything that they have collected or saved money for, all of their worldly possessions are in a dumpster.
I remember that with France. They were doing it in France.
And here's the thing. That's straight out of They Live. That is straight out of that fucking scene They Live, from They Live, when they destroy the fucking homeless camp. That is straight from Thatcherism and Reaganism, and it was being done here, and now here's Tucker Carlson opining over the fact that they can't do that shit anymore to the homeless people.
Well, there are homeless who are beg in front of the supermarket where I go, and I've talked to them. And there was one guy, one or two of them have told me, you know, they will camp out in a park locally. You know, they'll have a tent or blankets or whatever. And they said that the city will come in, clear them out, and take their tents and blankets away from them. Yeah. So, what you're saying, you know, they're trying to survive, and this is what the city does. So.
Sick. To make the city prettier. Is that the whole...
It's a problem, and that's their solution. You know, it's an eyesore. Oh my God, people trying to survive.
Well, do you know what it really is? It's a reminder. It's an everyday reminder that the system isn't working for everybody, and they don't want that. They want you to think that this system is great and perfect and beautiful, and we live in utopia. So what we got to do is get rid of the ones who remind us that it might not be exactly all that it's cracked up to be. We got to get rid of those motherfuckers and make sure they know that our city is not the city to live in. Take your homeless ass someplace up.
That's exactly what they're saying to the mass. Yeah. Wow, and it's unbelievable, because that's exactly what the UK is turning into. Exactly like that, far worse.
Yeah, and they're so proud. Another thing, they're so proud of the healthcare system here. So there is a universal single payer. Yeah. But from what I understand, like the homeless, they don't have any, you know, ID. They don't have their care card or whatever. So I don't think they really have access.
Because they don't have an address.
To healthcare. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
I don't know what goes on in NHS, but I bet it's similar at this rate. Of the changes going on with NHS.
Well, they have a similar program here. They have a food program here called EBT, and you can get food for a card for X amount of food. All you can buy is food. You can't buy you can't buy smack or tequila.
Damn it!
God damn it! How am I supposed to get by without my smack and tequila? But you can get 50 cents on the dollar for hookers. That's a different story. But the people who actually need it, the homeless, without a fucking address, they can't go through fucking Child Protective Services, and so they can't actually get the fucking card.
Right. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So to have access to these services, you have to have an address.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody who will say, okay, and take mail for you.
Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes I'll actually come and check and say, does so-and-so live here? Where is he now?
Right. Right.
Well, he's doing some smacking hookers in the back. You want to go talk? he's using the EBT card to pay for it. So.
Are you trying to tell us something, Scott?
Naughty Scott.
Naughty.
I haven't heard that word used, but naughty. That's why I like the Naughty Kingdom. It's naughty. So naughty.
Naughty bits. It's the naughty bits.
The naughty
like Monty Python, the naughty bits.
So I mentioned before we were talking about
nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
We were talking nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Say no more. I was talking about that girl, that teenager, who was reading the riot act to the. I guess it was a school board meeting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You want to see it? If I can share the screen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Let me hit share screen and see what happens with that. God knows. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Tell me if you see my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your screen.
Now,
Yeah, I see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to have to go down here for a second and minimize this. We're still recording.
Oh, that's wild.
If you see my porn collection.
I see it. Man, you're into some really weird stuff.
Smacking hookers. Tell me if this is too glitchy, but if you can't understand it. But let's take a look at this if we can.
Oh, yeah.
It is definitely reassuring.
Thank you for teaching students that our own mental health is much less important than making triple vaccinated adults feel safe. Thank you for teaching me that even the most minute risk is not worth taking. Life is best when you take the path of least resistance, with no chance of failure and definitely no chance of catching a cold. Thank you for not reaching out to the students to ask how we feel about masks, because if you did, the majority of students would say that they hate masks, and then you might second guess your decision to make us wear them. Thank you for allowing me to experience the anxiety associated with never seeing facial expressions. Thank you for teaching us that we should never question authority or think critically, but instead we should follow whatever the people in charge tell us to do.
Damn.
Obedience is best. I realize now that thinking for yourself is overrated and not really necessary when you can just make decisions based on fear. Thank you for pushing your irrational fears and anxieties on me, because I didn't already have enough to worry about. I realize now how easy I had it when I only had to worry about my classes, my grades, SAT, and getting into college. Thank you for teaching me that being a morally superior person only requires that I cover my face for 8 hours a day, and that the most morally superior people wear 2 masks or even 3 masks. As you know, states around us, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, and Minnesota, which have 2.5 times more students than Illinois, don't force kids to wear masks. I'm with you though. These states are out of control, recklessly putting kids at risk of misery and death every day. Masks work, even if these states have the same outcomes as Illinois. Speaking of data, thank you for staying silent about masking, despite the fact that COVID has a very high survival rate in kids my age. Who needs data anyway, though? We all know that it will never be safe to see anyone's face ever again.
Bang on.
Right? Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
so she must be in Illinois. She must be in Illinois. Yeah, or Chicago, or maybe. I don't know. Right? So it sounds like she's in Illinois.
All right. Have I stopped sharing my screen now?
Yeah. Back to.
So I can go
that
back
was
to
good.
I can go back to watching my porn. Okay.
There's a Twitter account that is in Illinois, and it's constantly talking about the mask. It's really funny. So they have this, I think its avatar is the picture of a sheep wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And so remember there was that post about how supposedly masks make men more attractive to women?
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
So this guy, he posted the sheep with the mask and said, "I look great."
I remember that picture.
I look great.
That's why who wrote that rubbish.
I saw a video.
The federal health officer here in Canada last year, maybe, said that couples should wear masks when they have sex.
Oh, God, that's so true.
This is Dr. Teresa Tam from Hong Kong, so she's a Hong Kong CIA asset.
Listen. That makes perfect sense, because a lot of times when I was in college and I got drunk and 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to hook up with somebody, I would make her wear a mask or a bag.
I love that. So she got mocked. So it's so funny. Wearing masks.
I saw a video where somebody recorded on a plane. This dude put a mask on, and he's sitting across from her. And I thought it was a spoof at first, but then I don't think it was. And then he put another mask on.
Oh yeah,
and then
I was
he put
wondering about
another
that.
mask on. And then he put another mask on. And she's like, oh my God. And then he put another mask on.
Is it going to be a beak?
6 fucking masks he had on. 6.
I mean, I can't even stand wearing one. I just cannot imagine this. What the heck?
Jesus.
Before all this happened, we had a box or 2 of masks from the dollar store. And Jake, my husband, would wear them when he'd go take paintings out to spray finish with. Yeah.
Those industrial masks.
And they were really, they're super thin. So that when I have to get my hair cut, that's what, because it's easier to breathe through because it's really super thin. So it's just a token thing that I wear, you know.
Yeah, it was
How can people breathe? I don't understand that.
I remember those type of masks. I just don't like wearing it. It's like the ears, when you put it in the ears, just aches and it tights, can't breathe. Then you start coughing. It's horrible.
Yeah, I generally don't wear. I use a neck gaiter. I just pull it up, sometimes just over my mouth. But a lot of the shops here, they don't enforce the mask rule.
Yeah, same with the shops in the UK.
The staff are just sick of it, so they don't bother. Most people wear masks, so they don't bother the people who don't wear a mask.
There's only the uni that started. My uni started that rubbish, 17th. It's just ridiculous. But there's only one person that was exempt from wearing a mask.
Right.
You know, because and then the teacher asked him about showing his documents. You know, you need your documents.
So you got to wear masks in school?
Yeah, like in the classroom, like in a small classroom, and then they open the window. They open the window to get the freaking COVID out, the Rona out.
Yeah, and in winter, I remember last year, like in France and in Europe, in winter, the schools had the windows open and kids had to wear coats in the classroom with masks. They're wearing masks with their coats on with the windows open. Okay. Well, I knew it was wrong. The first time I had to wear a mask, that's when I knew this doesn't make any sense.
I was driving down the road about a week ago, and there's this guy on a moped. And scooters are cool now, so he's like, you know, he's got a man bun, and he's got, you know,
a man bun.
He's got
a man bun up.
He's got the hipster pants on, and he's on his cool scooter. He's cool, and he's got his little helmet on, and his little thing, and he's got the goggles, and he's got the mask. So I pull up, and he's sitting there on the side of the road, waiting for the light to turn. I roll the window down, and I said, "Watch out, man! There's a cloud of the Rona right up there. Keep an eye out for that." And so I rolled the window up, and he's sitting there looking at me like this, and I just turned and drove off down the road.
Stop it!
It's a cloud of the Rona.
Well, you know, bikers, they used to sometimes they would wear a mask anyway, because, you know, crap with bugs or whatever would fly in their face. You know? So that's...
Oh, God. Those masks are smelly. No offense.
Oh, they're nasty. Really, and people get mask face. They got fucking acne all over their fucking face.
Yes. Teenage. Yeah, they'll get acne.
And they get mask breath.
Ugh. Fuck. Who wants to kiss that?
Well, talking from personal experience, Ben?
You haven't got to worry about it because you're wearing your mask and she's wearing her mask. And if it's really bad, you can say, "Hey, baby, can you put on an extra mask or 2?" Who wants to kiss that? That might be that. You know what? You might have hit on something. That might be the whole fucking point of the masks. And the whole point of the mask is depopulation. Because you look at somebody with the fucking mask, you're like, ah. And then when they take the mask off and they got that mask breath, you're like, ah. It could be a depopulation thing they're doing. I don't know.
What is it? Some people use it as an indicator of low IQ. It's like when you see people willingly wearing masks like outside.
Yeah,
That's a real.
I've seen that.
Or in a car.
In a car.
Alone, especially, like what the heck?
2 people wearing masks in a car.
That's not an IQ thing. That's like a natural selection. That person is not gonna fucking breed. You look at that guy driving down the road with a fucking mask and his goggles on and the windows all the way up like that. So guess what? That guy's fucking lineage done. Finished.
Jesus.
His genes stopped there, and that's it.
So it looks like it's almost time for you, Scott. You got a couple minutes.
I got about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, yeah. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about today? We had mentioned Ukraine.
Yeah.
We had talked about what else was going on?
Homeless situation.
The Kazakhstan thing.
Oh yeah, that regime change.
Yeah. That thwarted regime change, so far at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russia had to send troops to that.
Yeah.
I know.
Part of the CT, I forget the name of the organization, security organization.
Mm-hmm.
When the USSR dissolved, then some of those countries
They sent peacekeepers out to places like
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm. That pissed them off. That pissed them off. That's why they're mad about.
They wanted to get the Russian troops over there away from Ukraine, like they were trying to distract Russia from Ukraine.
You know that's why they got pissed off with Russia, Syria, because they got involved in Syria.
Yeah, that's what turned the tide. Yeah,
that turned the tide.
Yeah, it really did.
Syria signed up to Belt and Road recently.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They had to sign up to China's Belt and Road.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not going to do them a whole lot of good as long as the damn who were the guys in fucking Rojava?
Yeah.
As long as they fucking have the Kurds, as long as the glorious Kurds have half of their fucking country, the Belt and Road can be all well and good, but they need that fucking part of the country first of all for the oil, but second of all to be able to move to the rest of the fucking it's Russia on that side, or it's not Russia, but it's going in that direction.
In that east side, European side. Yeah.
So, but I did notice, and I got covered this recently.
Yes, I think you covered
it. There's been a number of fucking U.S. fucking resources, military resources, being convoyed out of fucking Rojava, which is Syria, eastern Syria.
Oh,
but they're leaving. They're pulling resources out. I mean, we're talking about 230 vehicles.
Wow.
With equipment on top of them. So not just 230 tanks or whatever, but big ass fucking flatbeds with all their fucking military equipment on in the last 3 weeks, I think is what it was when I made the video.
Yes, I remember you.
They're also stealing the oil along the way.
Yeah.
But that's a big exodus. That's a big exodus.
Yes, that's right. Big one.
I wonder what happens when we leave completely. I wonder what they're gonna what the Syrians are gonna do to those fucking Kurds.
I wonder those media is gonna be like. Is it gonna be like Afghanistan? They're gonna pull those save the Kurds stuff crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that nonsense.
How dare you leave the Kurds when they were so helpful to us? They were the best fucking allies that we had since, I don't know, the Contras. You don't know who the Contras
Vanessa,
are.
Vanessa Beeley and Ada Bartlett and Andrew Henningsen. They'll start. They demonize Turkey all the time with all this propaganda, and a lot of it's Kurdish propaganda that they're using, and they don't tell you that.
Exactly.
Yeah. who else I forget. Yeah, even the Max Blumenthal's gang, they do that. They push a lot of. Yeah, they cite these anti-Turkish propagandists in Europe. Legitimate sources. Yeah.
Well, for my viewers, I'm going to send over to watch your video, Ben.
All right.
Do you want to explain to them what your avatar means in terms of your Twitter avatar? And I think it's also your YouTube avatar, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, your channel, Cave Crusher, right?
YouTube,
yeah.
That was the original Twitter name. Yeah, Cave Crusher.
Cave Crusher.
We had the, what's his name? Boris Johnson's face. As the gorilla or something. Because of the Rona stuff and all that rubbish from him.
But on Twitter, you have a different avatar now.
That was my backup to Twitter I set up last year, so I used that one. Anansi Anansi intelligence. So Anansi is
not Nazi. Not Nazi.
Anansi the spider. Yeah.
Yeah, the spider.
Yes, it's a West African folklore.
It's kind of like Loki, isn't it? Like a prankster spider kind of thing. God, right? Yeah,
a lot of West Africans they tell the story. I used to get told about that story when I did Nigerian boarding school back in the day, age 17. So that's why I picked it up and used it as my Twitter.
They told the story and then okay, what time is it? Okay, what's the story?
Oh, sorry. It's the story.
You tease the story and then you go off to, I don't know. I'm not dead.
Sorry, just shortly, the story was that I just awakened from the CNN segment years back. That's back in my introduction, you know.
Your video. You have a video about that.
About the Bin Laden, the Photoshop image, the famous image of
of him being dead, right?
Yeah, and the bomber was cheering on, and that's where the argument with Dad just changed everything.
Okay, no, not your story. You're talking about the spider story. You said the Guardians are talking about would tell the story of a Nazi. Okay, what is it?
Okay, the Nazi, the spider, he's like a trickster, who he tells stories to
he outsmarts people.
Yeah, he outsmarts people. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's his strength. Is he outsmarts people?
Yeah. I don't want to go off a tangent.
He's smaller, but that's his strength. Is that he outsmarts people?
Yeah.
Well, they have that here. Here, the indigenous people, they believe the raven. The raven is the trickster, the smart one. Yeah.
And what is the bird in? Is it the mockingbird? What is the bird that fucking whacks people on the head down in Australia and New Zealand? There's a.
Oh, that's magpie.
Magpie.
Yeah,
magpie. Isn't that spider? Isn't he connected to the original Spider-Man? Isn't that the idea behind the original Spider-Man? Is that he was a smaller guy, but he would outsmart his opponents, and he was wittier than his opponents? Wasn't that kind of linked to the original Spider-Man?
He was stung by a spider, right? Spider-Man, is that right?
Yeah, I see the first Spider-Man movie, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know when I first saw your avatar, I was like, what does that mean? Does it mean he's a Nazi, or is there something else to that? So I pulled it up and looked, and I said, oh, there is something else to that. It's the spider. But they did say it was linked to the original Spider-Man. The story of the original Spider-Man was inspired by
that could be
folklore from the West African folklore.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because he's kind of like, back in those days, all your fucking superheroes are like, nom, 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 pow. But then Spider-Man came along. He's like, so I mean, that's where I thought it made sense. I mean, it was wittier,
the superhero for short people.
The small guys, the small people. He's kind of like Bruce Lee for smaller people who want to get into martial arts.
Yeah.
You know, because Bruce Lee was not a big fucking martial artist. He wasn't Dolph Lundgren. You know how many fucking world titles Dolph Lundgren won? As dumb as you think Dolph Lundgren is, guy speaks 7 fucking languages, has a master's degree, and won 7 kickboxing titles, world titles. Wow. Dude was fucking badass. But he wasn't a spider.
Yeah, in the intelligence, it's just, you know, to mock the Five Eyes, basically.
I like it. I like the use of it, because the idea is that we are smaller. Exactly. You know, through our wits, we will eventually fucking win. And if you look at what's going on now, we were pushing 2 years ago. It's now mainstream. You know, it's now on fucking Tucker Carlson, and soon to be on every other fucking channel. You know. Yeah. Because CNN can't continue to lose fucking viewers before they go belly up, so they're gonna have to do something.
Exactly. Don Lemon thing over there, and bring someone in to save CNN.
Don Lemon couldn't save fucking Jussie Smollett. How's he gonna save CNN? And he tried. You know he tried. Jussie, come on, man. What, are you serious? You serious? You hired 2 black guys to pretend like they were white guys to beat you up? What the fuck were you thinking?
BB.
You should have outsourced that job to white guys. I couldn't bring myself just to hire fucking white guys. I'm an equal opportunity employer. God damn it, they're supposed to be white, you dumbass.
It's affirmative action.
It's affirmative action. When affirmative action goes wrong. The Jussie Smollett story.
Oh, God.
I'm going to have to run, guys.
Yeah. You got to go.
I might go off a tangent and waste all that. I don't want to. Yeah, it's fine. I'll be fine. I'll make it there in time.
What I will do is I will upload this to my fucking channel. I don't have to be there while it'll upload and process all by itself. I'll just say publish, and then I'll take off. And 15 minutes from now, you guys can download it from that and use it. I will check real quick. Does anybody want to say goodbye before I start recording?
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. How's that?
Ben says, I survived the 45 minutes and I'm not dead yet, so that's good. That's a good thing. We're not dead yet. All right, let me get out of here. Ben, thanks for having us on here. I do appreciate this.
Yeah, no
worries. Yeah. Over time, I'll like put my webcam, on next time, because I was worried about the bandwidth. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We can see your name though.
Yeah.
I just realized that. We can see your name.
My full name.
Just get a picture of like Boris Johnson and put that up there and pretend like it's you.
I didn't put my Boris Johnson face.
Cave Crusher.
All right, guys. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to stop the recording, so just stay online for 1 second.
Right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.